Without further ado, our state representative, Mele Carroll from the 13th House District. She represents Koholave, Molokini, Lanai, Molokai, Keanai, Wailua, Nahiku, and Hana. She's responsible for initiating the Ahumoku bill, which is a monumental bill as far as telling the people who think they know what they should know. And Hawaiians will represent. Also, she's the chair for the Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection, which is what we're about with Honolua Bay. And she's a member of the Committee for Water, Land, and Ocean Resources, which we're very concerned with. And Hawaiian Affairs, of course. And then Finance, that's going to help too. So, Mele.
Especially our Maui delegation in the House, what we do is we work together. So your representative, Angus McKelvin, he comes to me, I go to him, we work together, we talk about our issues in our district, and we see how we can support one another. And I know that he spoke here last month or so, and he's been working with me on some of my issues. But one of the issues that I was asked to speak on tonight was our Ahumoku Council System bill. And first I'd like to just tell you that through the legislative process, you can introduce a bill in one form, and when it goes through its process, it's going to change consistently, and that's exactly what happened. But how this began was we had several kupunas, across the state, had invited legislators such as myself to come and speak to the kupunas at Akuba and on Oahu. And through that process, asked for us our commitment to help draft and introduce legislation. Well, immediately, because my constituents were sitting in the crowd from the island of Molokai, of course Maui, and from Lanai, I stepped up to the plate because I saw the value in how this Ahumoku Council system would benefit all of us. But more importantly, because we are the host culture, Native Hawaiians, we didn't want to see our traditional ways just go away. So we needed to find a way so we could find balance, to work with the scientists, to work with the community, to work with the kupuna, to find ways that we can bring them out and actually get all that information. Of course, you have to build trust, because kupuna not would share everything to just anybody, and it goes back to respect and protocol. It's like when you go to someone's house, you don't just walk in their house and do whatever you like, right? What's the first thing that you have to do when you go to someone's house? Well, before that, anybody home, you come out, right? See if anybody home and you ask permission to come in, right? And then before you enter the house, you take the slip off, right? But you still don't go into the house and just do what you like. You gotta talk story, you gotta build the trust, you gotta see what can be done, right? Just like a community. And that was the concept when this bill was introduced. Before coming into our community, we wanted to make sure that our community was better informed of what someone wanted to do, whether it was our natural resources, whether it was agriculture, could be anything that impacted that community. So based on the Ahupua'a management system of the ancient ways, we wanted to bring it forward in legislation so that it could empower the community, which you folks already are doing through this Save Honolua Coalition. But the whole idea was to look at how we manage our natural resources and how we become a partner with the LNR. And we have so many methods. We wanted to figure out what was the best practice for each area, because you cannot treat each area the same. We're all unique, and even in our culture as well. So through that process and working with the kupunas, they actually gave me the knowledge, and I wrote this bill, which was 22 pages long. And through our process, we had to go before the Senate, okay, because we were in disagreement on the amendments. And the final form became creating what we call Ahakiole Board. And that Ahakiole Board would consist of 8 people, 1 per item. We needed to have a process where instead of saying this is how the structure will be, this is what the rules will be, the Ahakiole Board would be chosen by the governor, which the nominations will come through the Hawaiian Civics Club, and then the governor will appoint these board members, and together they will go to all of the 37 locals and talk to the community on how would you like your Ahumoku Council empower the people there, but also to give the people a voice and building trust so that they can come to the Ahamoko Council. So such as the situation that you folks are in, it's pretty frustrating, right? I mean, we go through our process, you know, whether it's community meetings, going before the council and so forth. Well, this has to happen first before all of that even gets proposed. And looking at what is the best practices, such as saving Honolua, what would be the best practice to do that, as an example? So this bill actually passed, the governor signed it into law, and the names have been forwarded, and the governor just has to choose. Now, this process is a 2-year process. They have to report back to the legislature and allow us and tell us how each moku would like to be treated, and what is the best way to actually have this happen. So it's in the hands of the representatives from each island. The whole point to it is not just the community input, but also education, stewardship. I know a lot of you here are probably worried about what's happening to the future of Hawaii. I mean, with all the development, all the housing projects, and you see the millionaire houses coming up, you're probably worried about what's going to happen for the future of our children. And that's the conversation that's happening at the legislature. And more importantly, how are we going to afford to live here? Who's going to live here? Are we being imposed? People that are from this place? I mean, these are the discussions that are at the legislature right now, and the cost of living. We're trying to find ways that we can actually make it easier for all of us, but we're competing with the whole globe right now. So these are the things that can come from within, because we talk about sustainability. What does that really mean? It depends who you talk to. Everybody has a different definition of sustainability. But if you come into my district, which I represent, Keanai, Hana, the people there, they know how to survive, they know subsistence living, but don't take their practice away because that's their way of life. As an example, the island of Molokai too. The people there, you might think it's poverty, but it's not. It's actually the way they survive, and they love living that way. Don't take our way of life away as well. That's what they're fighting for. So I'm just here to support you folks, but also to answer any questions that I can, because as I was told tonight, because I sit on water, land, and ocean resources, I understand you may need some help with your cause. And I also am the Vice Chair of Energy and Environmental Protection and Finance. Finance is one of the most powerful committees in the House, and that's where everything ends up, especially when you're asking for money. So with that, I will open it up to any questions or comments.
That mic, I got another mic. Yes. Okay, if you have a question, raise your hand, and ask a question, and I'll go to the next person. Tomorrow. Hold it, you gotta speak right into the mic.
Thanks for coming. I was just wondering, what would you, like, if we wanted to,
Hold the mic close.
contribute to your committee or ask them for something, what do you think would be the best way? Like, to write a letter to the committee, or, like, if we're asking for, like, help to restore stream flow or something like that in the Honolua.
Okay. You're talking about the water, you want it returned, right? I actually introduced a resolution for the Waihehe, the 4 streams, and my resolution passed. And what that meant was to make sure that the Water Resource Commission do what they're supposed to do because they're mandated by law. Part of the reason was they didn't have an inflow stream standard study because they said they never have the manpower or the money. So luckily we partnered with Earth Justice and others and OHA, and they went out and they went to the county council, Maui County Council, and gave them some of that money, which they have done the study. So how you do it is you talk to your representative, or you talk to people who sit on committees that can help you. Like you can ask me, and I can work with Representative McKelvey. Because it's in your district, we can together introduce legislation. I also, in my bill, have asked that the Water Resource Commission look at the 1,242 other diverted streams as well, because they're not being addressed. Okay, but for now, the reso was specifically for Waihehe. So if you want something specifically, you can ask your representative, and then I'd be more than happy to help you. That's one of my strong things that I fight for, especially for East Maui.